What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name is Nicole and I'm a recovering addict. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. And this is my channel, our channel, where we talk about everything from addiction to recovery to life to being moms and dads and brothers and sisters and all kinds of stuff. We talk about everything here. But tonight, y'all, we have special guests coming on the channel, two special guests. I've never had a couple on the channel before. So we got Heith and Brittany. They're going to come on and share their story with us. And I'm really excited about it. They have a channel. In fact, while I'm talking with you guys, let me get all their information so you guys can go to their channel. They just started a channel out and it's called Burns and Down the House, which is really cute because their last name is Burns. So and what they kind of like, his wife right now has been blogging and stuff, kind of just like showing her everyday life, but they want to get more into like addiction recovery. And so y'all got to check their channel out, and we got to keep on, we got to encourage them to come out and talk more about their recovery, because, you know, there's a lot of people out there who are addicts and alcoholics who are couples, and it helps whenever you can like have somebody that you can relate your story to, you know. So no, I said I was coming on tonight at 7 because we're having a guest speaker. Did I not say that? I don't know. Let me look at my girl. I don't know. Let me look at my text messages and see what I said to you. Because I don't even remember. Hold on. Sound good. No, we will be live on the channel at 7 with Heith and Brittany. Hey, Sky, what's up? Hey, Mama. Is Artful Dodger here? Is Candace here? Because she was here at 6 o'clock. I don't know, like when I go on and I set this up like this, and then you guys come on and y'all can comment, but I'm not live. You know what I mean? So I was seeing you guys comment when I wasn't live, and I was trying to let y'all know that we would be live in an hour. Hey, June. I am like totally getting at, for some reason, you guys, I have to tell y'all what's going on this next week. So y'all know whose birthday it is this week. My son's going to be 6 years old, y'all. My son's going to be 6. Hey, Candace. I knew you had asked about the live stream tonight because I saw your comment. I don't know if you got my comment back, but I saw your comment earlier. I think it was like this morning when you commented it, asking if we were going to be live. And I was like, yes, we're going to be live tonight at 7. Yesterday, I just did not feel like going on a live stream. So I actually called my friend that I was going to have on, and I was like, we're just going to chill tonight. I'm not going to have any guests on. Make sure not to miss it tonight. Y'all are along for dinner and bath with my 6-month-old Caden. Aw, 6 months old. I remember those days when Nate was little like that. Oh, I could just cry thinking about it, you guys. Look, let me show you something. This was 4 years ago. Oh, that's my little Tukaluka. Oh, I miss when Nate was little. Okay, are y'all ready? They're here. I can see them in the background. Hey, guys. Are y'all ready? I'm going to bring y'all on.
Hello.
What's up?
Are you ready?
Yep.
I'm ready too. I'm so excited to have you guys on. I've been talking about this all week because I've never had like a husband and wife couple on this show before. So first, what I want you to do is kind of tell everybody about your channel and tell them your names, how long you've been sober, about your channel, and then kind of just start, I guess since y'all are a couple together, like if Heith or Brittany, whichever one of y'all wants to go first, like kind of share about how each one of you got into your addictions and then how you got together into your addiction.
I'm Brittany, and we have a channel, Burns Down the House, and we are showing how awesome life after recovery is and just sharing stuff that helps us stay sober, helps us stay on the right path, and all that good stuff. That's what our channel is about. Always.
Yeah, our tagline on it is surviving parenthood after surviving addiction.
I saw that. Y'all have got like all the, like when it comes on, it's professional. You know, I'm not professional like that. I don't know how to put any of that editing stuff in there. And I watched your vlog from the other day and it said my name across the bottom.
I'm so sorry I forgot your name.
No,
I could not
okay.
remember for the life of me. I was like, I cannot believe I forgot her name.
It's totally okay. I totally understand. And plus, like, there's so many, I feel like there's so many like Nicole's and Brittany's. Every friend I have on YouTube, their wife's name is Brittany.
That's crazy.
Like Death from Locked On 23 and 1. Okay. That guy, Savage, I think his girlfriend's name was Brittany. Like, there's like 4 Brittany's that I know from YouTube. So
it was a popular name, I feel like, back in the
day. So how long have you guys been sober? Have y'all been sober at the same time?
No. I got sober in, I'm pretty sure 2017, about April the 8th is when I started going to the methadone clinic. And then after I'd been there for probably about a year, I relapsed. And then when I found out I was pregnant with our 2-year-old is when I went back to the methadone clinic. So I kind of count that as my sober date, which was April the 8th in 2017.
And Heath, what about you?
I wasn't as locked in as she was. She was more of my rock during it. I was the relapser. I was the one that I was a contract tree climber, so I traveled all over. We lived in the tip of North Carolina, so I would travel into Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, out to Asheville, and contract climb for companies. And so I wasn't at home for nobody to keep an eye on me, and so I used that because I got to go back to work because as soon as it was time to, as soon as I didn't feel good, and I didn't like the methadone because I couldn't put it in a needle. I mean, so that was my thing. So it was like I wanted to get away from it, but I didn't want to get away from it at the same time. And then when it came to the point of almost losing her, and then I had a little run-in with my brother and my son living there and stuff like that. My oldest son, Jonathan, he's 16. And when we moved out here, he didn't want to move with us. So he stayed with my brother. And then I went back and I relapsed March of this year. And I'd been clean for a while, but I went back and relapsed March this year. And I mean, I just tore into him and like the rage and stuff come out about, I don't know, just underlying issues, I guess. And I took it out on him. And it was really a wake up call for me because at that point, I knew I couldn't come back home I was like, as soon as Brittany sees me, she's going to know, as soon as she looks me in the eye, she's going to know that I've been doing something. So that was really my turnaround point where since then I haven't really ever looked back. And I thank God for that moment every day. I was on my way. It's a 4-hour drive from Murphy to Charlotte. And about 45 minutes to an hour into the drive, I just flipping through the channels and a Charlotte radio station came on, which never picks up there. And it was a preaching. And it was Chip Ingram preaching about a holy war, it's a holy war going on all around us. And I listened to that whole 3-hour sermon and it just woke something up inside of me. And I was like, I've literally to the point now to where I've lost my entire family. Nobody wants nothing to do with me again. And it's like, we're doing so good. What have I done? And then since then I started on the Suboxones, which I was never a Suboxone person. I always hated Suboxones because it made me feel sober. Like I was just like, I don't want to feel like that. Like, I don't know how to make my mind work like that. And, she stuck by me. She didn't give up. She should have left me a few times. And she never gave up. We both started seeing a Suboxone doctor out here. She had a doctor already in Murphy. But by this time, we'd moved out here. So she was like, I need to find a doctor out here, and you do too. We both started seeing a doctor out here. And ever since then, it's just been completely different. So different. I mean, it's just like all those things that you want. Like when you're sitting there and you're high and you're like, I wish I could see my kids. Oh, I wish I had money to go do this. I wish I had this. it's just weird how all that stuff comes together when you're not blowing all your money on drugs, you know?
I know, that's right. I can't even believe it. Like when I look back at the way me and my husband, because just so you know, my husband had a similar situation to yours. I got sober and I was holding it down, and then he was kind of going back and forth, and I think that what happens is you guys have a lot more pressure on your shoulders, even though we're at home with the kids, but y'all are like, I got to make money. I got to make sure I pay the rent. I got to make sure I feel like it's just like guys are harder than on themselves. And also we know that we can't, like, I knew that I couldn't leave my son and go like, once I sobered up, I knew I couldn't just leave my kid at home and go smoke crack or something,
Yeah.
and my husband had to leave to go to work so he could kind of sneak out, behind my back. And then he would call me from work, and his voice, I could tell it in his voice because
That's her.
his
Every
voice
time.
was up an octave, and he'll be like,
Yes.
"Hey," and I'm like, "You're hot."
That is the very first thing I can tell is by his voice.
Yeah.
By his voice, it changes and it's completely different.
I would call and I'd be like, no, I'm not. She'd be like, Snapchat me then. And I'm like, because I knew as soon as she seen me, it was over.
Yep.
But see, I always justified it in my mind because I was like, look, I'm making good money.
Right.
And then I have there like right before when she first started going to the methadone clinic, I had a prescription. I was getting a script of Roxy's. So it was like, I'm getting it from the doctor and I'm making all this money. Who cares how I do it? And then it got to where I was going through the whole script in a week. And then it wouldn't. And that's why I was going through the whole script in a week, because I was shooting them up. And it would be literally 180 pills gone in a week. And then I'd be out spending half my money, coming home, making up bullshit lies to her about, I broke this at work or, something, trying to explain where the money went.
Yeah. So tell me this, when y'all met each other, were y'all both in active addiction when you met?
If I'll go ahead and start with my story, because I feel like mine's a little bit shorter than his, because he's been in it longer than me, because he was a lot younger when I started, when I got into active addiction. I had a pretty awesome life growing up. My mom and dad got divorced when I was like 2, but my stepdad raised me, and I had an awesome life. We went places, we had money, so I didn't have like a very bad childhood. My real dad was in prison for robbing banks, so that maybe kind of had something to play with it. But when I started, I was like 16 when I started like drinking and smoking and started hanging out with a different crowd. And I never really did any pills or anything until I met my oldest daughter's dad. And he, the first time we hung out, he brought over an OC80. And so that was the first pill that I ever took. It was an OC80. And after that, like, we would hang out a couple times here and there, and he would always have pills with him. And then I got kicked out of my house, and then I moved in with him, and after that it was just completely downhill until I got pregnant with my oldest daughter. And I stopped when I found out. And when I was probably maybe 6 months pregnant with her, I had a relapse. But then I stopped after that. But then as soon as I gave birth to her, probably like within 2 weeks, I started using again. And at this time, I was only snorting pills. That was it. And we were still normally doing OC80. Pretty much that was all we were doing.
I'm going to turn this TV down. I'm going to give you to her.
Okay.
But then after we split up when Gracie, my oldest daughter, was about 6 months old. And like within a couple of months, I met Heith after that. And I don't think when we first got together that we knew that we were addicted to pills. Like, I don't think I knew that he was addicted to pills, and I don't think he knew I was. And I don't really remember what the first, like, how we, like, figured it out and was like, I don't know if it was him or if it was me.
We were living in Cool Springs with her apartment. I moved into her apartment with her, and I had a 7-year-old. Gracie was 8 months old. And I moved into her apartment, and she walked in on me in the bathroom shooting up.
No, we were just still together before that, though. Remember, we were doing
that's how you found out I shot up, though. Yeah,
like within, I think, like when we first got together, we spent the night together the first night, and then we literally were inseparable. We spent every single day together. I'm not even joking. From the day we met until
that's how me and Neil were.
It's only been
met each other.
Yes,
and we just fell in love. It's crazy.
And then it was probably like maybe 3 days into being together that we kind of, like I said, I don't remember if it was like you or me that was like, do you want to do a pill? And then after we realized that both of us did pills, it was like downhill after that. And then I was still snorting them. And then I caught Heath shooting up. And I just continued to let him shoot up. I was like, yeah, you can shoot up because, I mean, I'm snorting them. I'm not going to be like, you can't do it.
I had her convinced it was going to save us money because I didn't need as much in a needle.
Yeah. And then eventually, I was just like,
I would just use like 7 or 8 more. I mean, it was so obsessive, especially with those damn blue Roxys, because I would break them down and then I'd pull it up in the syringe and it would be blue. And I would just like, I don't know what it was, but it was like that whole like ritual of doing it.
Yes.
I was so fascinated with it, you know, like,
we were both like that. But when he was shooting up, I was like, I will never touch it. Nope. Nope. That's disgusting. I can't believe you do it, but go ahead and do it. And then eventually I just kept seeing how high he was getting. And I was like, okay, well, I want to get that high. And I remember exactly where we were, exactly what I got. I think it was like a K or something. I remember where we were at and everything. When I told him, I was like, I want you to shoot me up. And then after that, it was just down until he went to prison. And then once he went to prison, I got on Suboxones, and I was on Suboxones for probably 2 years. And then I lost my Medicaid that I had, so I wasn't on Suboxones anymore. And then we went back to it, and then that's when I got into the methadone clinic and all that.
Yeah, we were together for 5 years.
Clinic.
Sorry,
Do what? Yeah, go ahead.
We were together for 5 years we didn't even think we could have kids, and then all of a sudden it's just like boom, she's pregnant, and then boom, she's pregnant again.
Yeah, so I was in the methadone clinic when I got pregnant with our oldest, and because I was afraid, like I just knew, like I knew I had to have something to help me, because if I tried to just come off that, I knew I couldn't do it, and that's bad and it's horrible, and I feel bad about it all the time, but I just knew that I could, and I knew
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
The only reason why you think that's bad and that's horrible is because that's the way everybody's always been taught. Okay. Yep. There's no one has ever taught. It's just now starting to happen where people like me and people like you are starting to share our stories about medication assisted treatment helping us. And the reason why we were shamed is into thinking that the only way to get sober was through abstinence, and that's just not the case. And it's scientifically proven that maintenance medication, people that are utilizing it, they don't relapse. You're not going in and out of treatment. And when you're not on maintenance, when I was not on maintenance, I went into rehab 5 different times. Okay. It was in and out, revolving door. I haven't relapsed at all in 5 years being on maintenance medication. And I'm down to 1 milligram of Suboxone, 0.5 in the morning and 0.5 in the afternoon. It's like, that is way we've been taught for so long. There's nothing wrong with needing help there. And also, it would be better for you to be on methadone or Suboxone than to be in active addiction, shooting up, pregnant. Yep.
That's what I was
and putting your children in harm's way, you know? Yep. So I used to feel the same way, just so you know. I used to feel the same exact way until I just started seeing the light that people have brainwashed us into thinking that there's only one way to recover.
Yeah, and so such a stigma around it.
You did the best thing that you could have done for you, your family, and your kids that would have kept you on the right track. How did you do with methadone? Was it helping you, or see here with methadone? For me, I was abusing it. How did you do with it?
Well, when I was pregnant, I went in and I started at 40, and then I got down to 10 with him. Yeah, I got down to 10 milligrams with him. And when he was born, he didn't have any withdrawals or anything, thank God. And then like 3 months later, I got pregnant with Levy, which is 18 months old right now. And so when I went back in with her, I had got back up to, I think, 35 because I was still on after I gave birth to him. And then I got down to 2.5 milligrams with her, and she was fine. And then
you came off completely with her. Because with Ramsey, we had to stay in the NICU for 5 days because they wanted to monitor her. She's on methadone.
Yeah.
And she's like, I will not go through that again. I'll not let another one of my kids do that. And she came completely off and went through withdrawals while pregnant because the doctor was like, well, she was like, I'm worried because the doctor's like, you can come off of it if you want. She's like, I don't want to have a miscarriage or anything like halfway through, or cause preterm labor or anything like that. And the doctor was like, no. He's like, that's a myth. He was like, if you're brought down the right way by a doctor and you follow what I'm going to tell, what I tell you to do, he's like, you'll come off of it fine. And she did. Now, she did have a couple rough days with a little bit of restless leg, but it wasn't nothing like, I mean, the withdrawals you would go through just trying to cold turkey something. I mean, like it really, really helped. And she came completely off of it. She was completely clean. And then afterwards, after she had Levy, I was still relapsing. She went back so that she didn't relapse.
Yeah, I went after I got off of the methadone with her. I didn't go back to methadone after. That's when I started my Suboxone again, because like methadone, you can still get high off of it. You can still do pills and get high with taking your methadone. And Suboxone, I just feel like it really does work on your brain. It makes it not as like cloudy. It makes you feel like a normal person. When I was taking methadone, I felt like I was getting high still. Hey, go there with brother, okay?
We were both like
Y'all are okay.
methadone and stuff.
But yeah, that's when I went and got back on Suboxone, because when I was on Suboxone a while ago, I loved it so much more. Okay, honey. You talk for a minute.
Did you say how old are they?
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
4.
Okay. How old are they?
1, 2, 9, and 16.
1 and 2. That's the ones you're Levy and Ramsey, right?
Yep, that's the 1 and 2-year-old. Levy's little 1-year-old girl. Ramsey's 2-year-old boy. Gracie is a 9-year-old girl. She's basketball, softball star, man. And Jonathan is our 16-year-old outdoorsman.
That's awesome. And listen, so your kids have basically, the little ones have gotten to see you guys sober the whole time, basically.
The older ones have been through some crap. They've seen and been through some stuff. If it wasn't for some awesome grandparents and stuff, when I was, I mean, before me and Brittany met, and she's gone, I'll go ahead and tell my side. Before we met, I got my first prescription when I was 12 years old. I got given a script of Roxy 10s when I was 12. I got hurt in football, and they gave them to me. And then when I figured out how good that little bitty pill made me feel, I found reasons to keep getting them. Well, then I figured out that my grandma had a script of them, and that my great grandma had a script of them. So then I started stealing them. So my addiction started when I was 12. And I mean, I was drinking, doing all kinds of stuff. Now, I came from a family of 2 ex-police officers. Neither one of them have ever tasted alcohol, never done drugs. My grandmother had this prescription for over 40 years. And I mean, she never got above a 10, a Percocet 10, you know, and she would take them.
Isn't that crazy?
She wouldn't take them 5 minutes early. Yeah, and she wouldn't take it 5 minutes early. I'm talking about she'd be sitting there in pain, rocking in pain. Like, no, I got 5 more minutes before I can take my medicine. I'm sitting here like, what? But then, so I was pretty crazy. I did pretty much everything. I mean, coke, meth. I mean, anything that would get me a little bit high, I would do. But my grandparents raised me. Let's go back to that. My grandparents raised me because my parents both passed away when I was young. My mom just left when I was like 2. My dad was shot in the stomach. They said it was suicide. It was labeled suicide, but he was an addict, an alcoholic. My mom died 12 days before I turned 16 of AIDS. She was an addict, and she contracted it through needle use. So I never knew either one of them. My grandparents raised me. So they were like, you know, such good people. They didn't like, you know, they taught me right from wrong. They never fought in front of me. I've never even heard my grandpa raise his voice. And not even when I should have, I mean, if it would have been one of my kids, I'd have probably tripped out, you know, some of the things that I put him through. But I grew up just kind of like, they would let me, they were way too easy on me. There wasn't a lot of discipline because they felt bad for me. So I would, you know, I just did what I wanted. I'd be like, you're not my mom. And I'd just leave. And then started getting more and more into the drugs and into the crazy stuff, and had Jonathan, and they pretty much raised him for the first 6 years of his life. Because, I mean, I was there. I lived there still. I would be at home every now and then, but I was always, who knows what I was on or what kind of condition I was in or anything like that. And I didn't treat him like he was my son. I tried to treat him more like he was my friend. Like, hey, let's go do something cool while I'm high. But then when I was high, we wasn't trying to do nothing cool. He'd be like, Dad, can we go do this? I'd be like, yeah, give me a minute. And I'd be looking half a day trying to find a pill, you know?
Yeah.
So our older ones have seen a little bit that they shouldn't have seen, but they've turned out great. We've got some great kids. Past that, though, before I met Brittany, I was contract climbing a little bit. I was climbing for a couple of companies, and I used that as a crutch. Like, oh, well, I can do this and make a lot of money if I feel like it. But like, oh, if I don't take this, I don't feel like it. So it was just always my little crutch. Well, then when I met her, I was climbing for the city of Murphy, for their tree company, and hiding everything I did. And then we figured out that each other did she did the same thing I did. So then it just got worse from there. And then when it came to the first time that she shot up, for the long, I wouldn't do it for her. I was like, no, I'm not gonna be the first one to do it. Well, then one day she was withdrawing, and all I had was something that was in a needle, and she was like, I mean, you'll say anything in withdrawal. She was like, oh, I've done it before, but only once. So in my mind, I was like, oh, so I'm not the first person. Okay, here you go. So I started doing it for her. Later, she shot me the truth. You know, she was like, okay, that was the first time, and like she said, it just literally spiraled downward from there. I mean, there was one point in time before I went to prison that I was homeless. She was living with her grandma. My oldest son, Jonathan, was living with my grandma. And I mean, like, my family, her family, nobody would speak to me.
And we were still doing it. Yep. Still trying to get, we were doing scrap metal then. Like, yep. That's how we, like, got money was go find stuff and take it to the scrap yard.
That's one of the reasons I went to prison. I went up to a house that had copper gutters on it and ripped the gutters off the side of the house and went and sold them for drugs. I'm talking about I scaled a wall. I'm talking about, like, I climbed the gutter to the top to a 3-story roof and ripped it off the roof and fell with it to get it off the side of the gate.
Like, I've never taken gutters off of a house, but I've done some crazy stuff to do scrap metal too. That was my tweaker days. Yeah. Damn! Did you get caught hanging off doing it, or did they catch you like on a video camera or something?
After we turned it in to the scrap metal place, I think they were like, "This is a little odd," and then they heard where somebody had some stolen. Because in Murphy, it's a very, very small town.
Yeah,
very small.
If you fart, the other side of the county knows it. I mean, it's a little bit.
So you went to prison. Is that why you went to prison for, I guess it would be like stealing stuff? I don't know.
That was a probation violation. No, I actually that was the probation violation that sent me to prison. I was on probation actually for robbing a restaurant. I worked at a restaurant and I was like a minute late one day and they fired me. And I got pissed and I got high one night and I went and opened all their safes up and took everything. And I got caught and I was on camera. So I got caught and I was on probation for 3 years. And then this was right at the, I was on probation for 3 years and that 3 years kept getting extended because I kept getting in trouble. So it turned out to be like 6 years.
And then you got DUIs.
Then I had like 4 DUIs before I turned 21. I got my fourth one. No, I had 3 before I turned 21. I got my fourth one in my mid 20s. And it just a compilation of stuff. And basically, at this point, my grandparents' name in that town is the only thing that had kept me out of prison because all the judges knew my grandparents and they were like trying to give me a chance to get my shit together. And I just took advantage of it, being like, all right, thanks for the slap on the wrist. I'm out, you know, and right back to it I would go.
How long did you stay in prison?
A year.
Good. Okay, good. Okay.
I think that right there is what saved us, honestly. Because once he was gone, I couldn't get anything. I didn't know. I mean, I knew people, but like he was the one that got the money and got the pills for us. Like I didn't know anybody to get them from. So I was like, I wanted to stop at that point though. Also because it was just horrible. I just lost him, and I'm like, this is horrible. And so that I got on Suboxone as soon as he went to prison is when I got on him. So,
how did your addiction start, Brittany?
With my first daughter's dad when I was probably like 17, because I was drank and smoked when I was younger, but I never did anything. But the first day I hung out with him, he brought an OC80 over, and that's the first I ever did. And then I started doing them every day with him because I got kicked out of my house and I had to move in with him, and we just started doing pills every day, and eventually I had to have them every day. And then so that's how I got started. I
remember back in the day when those OC80s were everywhere.
Yep.
Those are like a unicorn now. Like if you were to see one of those, it'd be like, ah!
Yep.
I remember seeing 5-gallon buckets of those things. There was the guys that robbed pharmacies. Now, I wasn't never a pharmacy robber, but there was guys who robbed pharmacies back around Murphy, and like this one dude had literally a 5-gallon bucket. It was just a mix of Oxy 80s and every kind of Roxy you could want. And he'd just pop the top off the bucket and pick them out like, here you go, buddy.
Yeah. Oh my God, craziness. I mean, I've never robbed a pharmacy either, but I have seen people that it was like you knew they had done something like that because there's no way that they had all those pills. And then we also hit this like one time where we were friends with this guy whose mom was a doctor. So he knew how to write prescriptions. Like, you know how doctors write in like another language, Latin or something like that? and he knew how to do it. And so we went and we would hit all these fucking pharmacies in Little Rock. And I remember I had just gotten out of prison. And so Neil was going in there and I would not go in because I was like, fuck that. I'm not going back to prison. You're a square. You can go in there and get caught up. I'm not getting caught up again.
I was always afraid to do shady stuff. I did some stuff, but like I was always afraid.
She was the driver. That was the worst thing she ever did was the driver.
The
and
getaway driver.
I was like, she's gonna drive for this.
You know what? Y'all need to get a hold of Josh from Lockdown 23-1. He does an episode on his channel called the Bonnie and Clyde series, where he has people on his channel to tell stories about Bonnie and Clyde situations. And y'all can go on there and share about your Bonnie and Clyde situations and about being in recovery. And that's a big opportunity, because when I got to go on his channel, that catapulted me like to past 1,000. Like I think I gained like over 1,000 subscribers from going on his channel. Dang. It was a big deal. I was crying. I was so excited. I was like, you know.
I would too.
That is awesome. Yeah, the Bonnie and Clyde moments. People would talk with me. I would talk about Brittany. I'd be like, man, that's my ride or die right there. Because like it didn't matter what it was. I could be like, hey, I could walk up in the house and be like, hey, I know where the safe's at. I'm going to get it. She'd be like, do you need me to drive? I mean, it's horrible now. It's horrible now.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't been like that in years. And a thought like that's never crossed our mind in years, even through my relapse stages. But it was just like looking back, I never realized how much she loved me. You know, like I didn't see it then, and I see it now because I'm like, dude, she literally would have done anything for me. And I think that a lot of girls get caught up like that because they love guys so much and they would do so much for them. And then the guy puts them in that situation like, well, I want this, so you go get it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you guys, okay, so yeah, being a couple in recovery is not easy. I know that from firsthand experience. How do you guys separate your sobriety, and like, how do you work on your recovery, Brittany, like separately, and how do you work on your recovery separately? So that way you guys, because I know for me, at first I was trying to control my husband and basically tell him what he could do, where he could do it, everything. And that was pushing him away to want to go out and get high. So how do you guys deal with that?
I always like to work on my sobriety like by myself. I always waking up every day and having a schedule with God first thing in the morning helps me tremendously. Like if I start my day off in a good mindset, and I'm better with the kids throughout the day because I yell a lot and I'm trying to not yell so much. But I always, if I start my day out like that, it goes. And like trying like to think about his sobriety, really like just trusting him. Like I trust him a lot now. And I feel like used to, we didn't have any trust at all. And so I would try to control him. And I feel like I did push him sometimes to do it. But now I trust him so much. Like, I mean, there's still some things that hey, what are you doing? But then I'm like I would know, you know, so.
My biggest thing that helps me is accountability. Because if it wasn't for if I didn't have things to be accountable to, I wouldn't really care. So just accountability to my kids is something that I never took before. I never really took accountability to them. Accountability to her. I mean, we have the Life 360 on our phone, so she always knows where I'm at. You know, there's never a question. So that way, if I'm ever in a shady place, I'm going to hear about it, you know, immediately. It's not. And then also that's one of the reasons that we wanted to start this vlog so much is not only in hopes to help somebody see that there is another side and that you can make it there even after years of abuse, but also to be accountable, because we're not only accountable to ourselves that way, we're accountable to anybody who subscribes to our channel, so that I don't know, it helps a lot. Also, you know, a lot of people say that moving away from the problem don't fix it. But when we got out of Murphy, we come out here, and I'm sure there's pills all around us. I could care less. But it's when I didn't want to make that reputation here in this new place. I didn't want to be known as that guy, you know. And then so we would avoid any place where we might run into somebody like that, you know. And in Murphy, it was like we knew right where to go. You know, I could walk up on the door and get anything I wanted on front. It didn't matter. And when you're in that environment, I feel like that makes it a lot harder to get away from it, because I don't know, sometimes I feel like there was this demon inside of me, and it's like once withdrawals would hit, I didn't care or think about anything else except making that stop. Like it didn't matter who I hurt, it didn't matter at all. But it's like, I don't know.
I feel like another thing
Sorry.
to help with
No,
to stay sober is to really find out who you are, because there's a reason that you've got addicted to drugs. I feel like there's some reason. I feel like being comfortable in your own skin, trying to figure out who you are, because that's one of the reasons that I love to get high, is because I felt like I was more accepted. I felt like I was just more comfortable in my own like skin when I was high, and learning how to navigate loving myself and knowing who I really am, not being high, is a daily struggle still, but I have started doing it a lot more, and that helps me tremendously. Tremendously.
I got a good question for y'all.
Okay.
What about sober sex?
It is a lot different. It is a lot different.
It is. What about sex in Suboxone? How does it affect your sex drive, Brittany? How does it affect your sex drive, Heith?
I feel like Heith will never lose his sex drive, ever. It is always on. Any time that I will give it to him, he will take it. But I feel like my sex drive isn't, and I don't know if it's from Suboxone or if it's just because our older son was sitting here.
I'm sorry.
He's like, I'm going fishing. I'll see you guys later.
But I don't know if it's because I'm so tired from the kids all day or what, but I mean, I have a pretty low sex drive. But I mean, there's some days, and I feel like it's closer to when that time of the month that I do have a sex drive again. So I don't feel like he's ever lost his.
I feel like that my sex drive depleted for a little while after I got off the opiates, in between the opiates and Suboxone. Just because, I mean, it's a known, like, it's a fact that, you know, any man that uses opiates continuously over years, it's going to deplete your testosterone levels.
Yep.
So, I mean, I feel like that was part of the reason. But I don't know. I guess there for a while afterwards, like, I would have to drink because I didn't feel confident in myself, or, you know, whatever. Like, I'll be like, oh, you know, I got to make sure I'm not like a 2-second Tom here. And
right. When y'all got, okay, so I know for me, when y'all got sober, were y'all like for me, I felt so embarrassed. I felt so awkward because the only sex that I really had was high sex. Me and my husband were always high, you know. And so when we got sober, I was just like, I was so nervous and afraid that he wasn't going to love me. Did you feel insecure, Brittany?
Yeah, it's almost like you're re-meeting someone, because you're meeting someone without a wall almost in front of them. I mean, like, it really is like having sex with someone new almost, and you get all of those feelings back again, and you just kind of have to learn to get back to where you were without the pills. I mean, we always had the pills, but I don't know, it was weird. Like, it's still weird now sometimes, because I know I have a lot less inhibitions when I'm high than I do when I'm not high.
Right. Look at me, I start crying and I'm like, I just love you so much. And my husband's like, Nicole, I know, he's like, are you okay? And I'm just, I don't think I don't know if you're like me, but guys, I don't think guys can understand. I was like so emotional and so afraid. I was just, and then like getting on Suboxone for me was just like, I went from being like, oh God, crazy, wild, XXX, you know what I mean? To like not even wanting to do anything for a long time. Like Suboxone really deadened my like my feelings in that way. And so it hasn't been until I've gotten down lower on the milligrams that I've started to like feel like regular again. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, let me think of some other questions. Oh gosh, have y'all ever had any crazy knockdown, drag out fights because you had one pill left and you said half it with me and he said no, I'm not halving it?
No, hold on. I got a story for that one. Hold on, I got a story for that one. There was this one time and we got into a panel, right? We were both in horrible withdrawals. I mean, horrible withdrawals. There was nothing around, so I like talked this guy out of one, and I drew it up, and like I had never shot this much of one before, and I just drew it all up in one, and like so there was no more left, and it was an hour, and I shot half of it and passed out. So she was like trying to wake me up. I passed out, but just say she's trying to wake me up. So I woke up and the needle's still dangling on my arm. So I was like, ooh, more, and just pushed the rest of it in. Dude, she tripped because now she's going to fall. There's nothing else. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing else. She tripped.
He's also dropped like the can. You spilled a can before that's had all of the stuff in it, and that was all of it.
Yeah.
But
after I took mine, I spilt the can because I was so messed up, and so I spilt hers.
Damn.
I'm over here like trying to draw it up off the console of the car, you know. And
but I mean, he's never left. Like he's never went and got high and then purposefully not gotten me high too. Like he might get more than me or do more than me, but he like has never let me be sick while he's high, like ever. Now David, Gracie's dad, that happened all the time. All the time.
Dude, I was a straight gangster. Like I'd be like, because I was always, I could hit myself, so I didn't have to worry about Neil doing it for me. And he couldn't do it for him. His veins were so bad. So I'd be like, bam, bam, and I'd be off and running, you know, like high as hell. And he'd be in the bathroom for like 2 hours. Nicole, help me! And I was like,
going there, pouring sweat and stuff, trying to.
Like trying to go by his groin, and I'm just like, oh no. Like I know I laugh about it now. I laugh now, you guys, but back then it was so sad. When I think about it, and like if I'm really serious, like we were so desperate, you know what I mean, just to escape how we were feeling, you know. And I think when you meet and y'all are both have an addiction already, and then you bond over that, you know, having an addiction and getting to know each other, falling in love, and then you are addicted together. It's like so much. I could cry just thinking about it. I'm just so thankful that we're not like that anymore. You know what I mean?
Like it's such a dark place. Like it's so crazy, and you just keep going back to it. Like I feel like that's the people that say like you cannot get addicted to drugs. Like you had a choice. Like there's some point where your brain switches to survival mode and you can't do anything about it. And like it's gonna tell you that the most important thing above food, eating, everything is to get a pill. And like you have to retrain your brain almost to get back to a normal thinking person.
That's exactly what you have to do. Retrain your brain.
Yep.
Mac wants to know.
Yeah, I want to answer that Mac mean true
story.
Good. I'm sorry. Yeah, he said, do you ever miss your dope? I storage every day. Up until maybe like 3 months ago, up until at the end of my last relapse, I have not urged since then. But before that last relapse, I urged every day. And let me tell you, I still have those little urges, like when we'll have a bad day or something will be going wrong, or when I get a lot of money. I'm like, you know, when that stimulus check hit, I was like, yeah, let's go. And then I was just like, no. I was like, look at all you have to lose now. So it's like, before that, I wasn't looking at all I had to lose because I hadn't lost it yet. You know, like I still had people hanging on. I still had people standing by my side. And once I got to that point where like I knew what it was like to lose everything, and I knew what it felt like for everybody that I loved to hate me and or to feel like they hated me. They didn't hate me; they were just disappointed, you know. But to feel like they really hated me and to feel like such a piece of trash, like I just didn't want to be like that no more. And I seen how happy she was all the time. Even, I mean, like I would come in and I would make her mad, I'd upset her, and she'd still just hold it together. And I wanted that, you know. So once that switch flipped in my head, it was just like that was it. Like I just, ever since then, if a craving comes up, it's for a split second, and then my new mindset takes over. And you know, we all were just talking about like retraining your brain, and it really is an addictive mindset because like you're addicted to that feeling, yes, but you're all, like you said earlier, you're also addicted to the chasing it. You're addicted to finding it and getting it. It's like a prize every time, you know. And
you have a problem, and you're used to when you get a problem to get high, and then you'll figure it out.
Yep.
And then you have to learn, I have a problem, let me deal with it now, sober. And that's really hard to relearn, because anytime anything bad happens, all you want to do is get high, then you'll worry about it later. And you can't. Like, you have to relearn not to do that.
Something else you have to think about too is like when you start using drugs young, before your mind is matured, you're slowing the maturity of your mind. So you know, even though I'm 33 years old, like I still don't feel like I have a 33-year-old mindset.
Oh yeah.
I feel like my mind didn't mature like it should have, because I was always just, like when you're a teenager, it's just, what can I have here and now that, screw the future, forget, anything else. I want here and now. And that mindset's hard to overcome. And I feel like that once you finally get past that and learn that new mindset of, let's think about the future more than the here and now, and stop trying to live in every moment, you can still live in every moment. I'm sorry, I jumped up and down the computer bounce, but you can still live in every moment, but you live it in such a different way where you actually remember it and you can be proud of it and other people can be proud of it. And I think that that's a really important thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know y'all could see the comments. I'm glad y'all can see them. That's good. So that way y'all can keep up with them.
I actually just looked over and caught that when I was trying to keep up with them and keep up with y'all too, and that's hard to do.
There's quite a few new people in the chat tonight that I'm just now getting to know. I see, hey Mac Mean, what's up? I'm glad you're here, man.
All of y'all, thank y'all.
Do I ever miss getting high? Like, there's sometimes where I have, like, as a woman, like, I think about, well, if I could have some meth right now, I could clean this whole house from top to bottom, do 17 loads of laundry. I could rearrange. I mean, I think about that. But then I also think about, well, last time I did meth, I didn't really do anything except for cut holes in the cushions of the couch trying to find a secret device that had been planted by the FBI.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, my problem was when I would do that, I would be the person that I would think I was going to get 50 things done. I would start 50 things and not finish any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd come home and the dishes would be sitting in water, ready to be washed, but they wouldn't be washed. And then the clothes would be laying in front of the washing machine, not in the washing machine though. And all the stuff on the floor would be swept up in a pile, but not really got out of the floor. Just a bunch of random ass stuff that never got finished.
Just a hot mess express. Hot messes. Okay, let me think about this. How do you guys parent do you guys talk to your kids about addiction? I know the young ones probably not yet, but the older ones, do you guys talk to them about that?
Yeah, because they were with us through literally through everything. They have been through a lot. They are very, very strong kids, and for them to be as awesome as they are, amazing. But they know. I don't know if actually Jonathan, he's 16, so he knows what we've done and everything. Gracie, I don't think I've ever really. She knows what drugs are because there's a lot of people in my family, my real dad's side, that are still on drugs, and she knows that she can't be around them and that they're still doing drugs and they're not doing good. And she knows that I used to do drugs. I don't think I've ever really said what I did, like snorted pills and shot up pills with needles and stuff. I don't think we really ever went in depth with her like that. But I feel like once she gets old enough, I'll be able to tell her my whole story.
Now we've talked to her about just about drugs and stuff like that, and about not letting anything, like not even a cigarette, like her little Juul pods or whatever. Like my 16-year-old wants a Juul, and he tried to sneak one in, and all this stuff, and it just I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it because
those Juuls, I heard some kids are getting like hella addicted to them because they have so much caffeine in them.
Yep. And I mean, there's a crap ton of nicotine in them too. But see, I mean, past that, it's just like I don't know what to do with him because he's already that age, and I'm trying my best not to push him away. I don't want to push him further into anything, So I'm trying to learn as I go.
Has he smoked cigarettes before?
No. No, he's tried weed.
A pack of cigarettes and then see if he still wants to do it.
Yeah.
Well, he's tried weed with his friends or whatever, but I mean, it's weed. I told him, I was like, look, dude, I'm not gonna down you for smoking weed. I was like, I will get on your butt if you start doing it every day. But if let's say that you work your butt off for finals, and after school, whatever, on the weekend you go and you hit a bowl with your friend, I'm not gonna ground you and all that stuff for that. But if it ever goes past the weed, I'm gonna lock you in your room and beat you with a belt. Not really. But I would lock him in his room and
educate them about what happens when they go to the other left and they go past that. I didn't have any education about addiction. Like, I didn't know. The only thing I knew was like from what I seen on TV, like people underneath bridges with paper bags. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and DARE. I remember the DARE classes.
Yep.
That was about it.
I never thought that I would be like I was addicted to drugs like I was. You know what I mean? I don't think any of us think that we're going to go that route, but it's like every action has a reaction, you know, and like getting high, and something's bad's gonna happen. And that's what I think is important to like explain to our kids, is like the consequences of our actions, you know?
I
Like
feel
if
like
you go to college and study and get good grades, you're gonna be able to be somebody when you grow up. If you go to college, drop out, get high, then you're gonna be a junkie when you grow up. You know, like which one do you want to do? It's hard though, because my son's he'll be 6 this week, Friday, and I mean he knows about my recovery because I'm here on my channel and I do videos all the time and I talk about addiction and recovery. The other day I went in his room and he was going, "Welcome back to Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction."
how sweet.
Yeah. That's right, Nate. He's so crazy.
No.
That's awesome.
Your kid. So tell me this. Okay, have y'all ever done did y'all go to like AA or NA or anything like that when y'all were getting sober, or was that just not something y'all did?
I never have.
Well,
now at my every doctor that I've went to, like my methadone clinics and my Suboxone doctor, like I have to go to a counselor every 2 weeks. But I love going to a counselor. I feel like even if you're not addicted to drugs, that everyone should see a counselor. I really feel like that. Like it helps me just open up so much more and get so much of like my childhood out and just really figure out why I got to where I am. I love my counselor so much, but
I had a counselor for the first 3 years that I was in the MAT clinic that I go to, but now I've been there for so long, you get to a certain phase and they kind of just phase the therapy part of it out. But I mean, I have a sponsor and I do these things here where I consider this therapy for me, because I'm processing through what I feel and I'm talking all the time. And that's how your channel can help you do that. And another thing I want you guys to think about doing is maybe y'all could do a weekly live stream where it's you guys together. It can be in the evening later when your kids are going to be asleep, so that way you can have free time and y'all could have really advertise for it. Start joining some recovery groups on Facebook, start hanging out with us over here, and have a weekly live stream where it's husband and wife talk about addiction recovery. And I'm telling you, man, there would be so many people that would come and hang out and do those meetings. I know everybody here would, because if it was up to the people here, I would be on a live stream all day, every day, 7 days a week. So I know that you would have people that would want to come and do it with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That is awesome.
That helped me a lot.
As far as with me, I chaired AA meetings in prison just because the NA meetings conflicted with church, so I went to AA meetings, and I ended up being the chairman of those. But when I got out, my brother introduced me to a book called Rational Recovery, and I think it's by Tim Johns. I'm not sure, Tim somebody. Anyways, it's called Rational Recovery, and it's an alternative to the 12-step program, and it basically you look at your addiction as the beast inside of you. And it's basically like a war against the beast inside of you. And are you going to let this beast overtake you? And it's basically telling you that you do have power over the beast if you know how to take it back. And it's just a way to change your mindset. It's an awesome book.
By Jack Trempey.
Well, Jack Trempey. I don't know where I got Tim from.
I
don't know where I got Tim from. Maybe I'm thinking Trempey. That's where I got Tim from, but I don't know where I got that from. But yeah, Jack Trempey.
I started out by going to 12-step programs, but like I said, this 12-step program model that I went to, it kind of, even though it doesn't mean, I don't think the program necessarily means this, but it was contradicting with me being on maintenance medication. A lot of the people in those groups, they will tell you that you're not in recovery because you're on maintenance. And so that's why we started doing the MARA with this guy named Jeff. He started it. It's called Medication Assisted Recovery Anonymous. And it is amazing. It is amazing. And he has a Facebook group on Facebook, and he does meetings. We went to one last night. And there was so many people in that meeting last night, Merk, wasn't there? There was 25 people in the meeting, and we're on a Zoom call, and everybody gets to share. But basically all of us are on maintenance, that are in the room. And so we've all, been there where we've had, people judge us for being on Suboxone or methadone. And so
this in the fridge so it doesn't freeze.
Okay, thank you. And so we support each other, and nobody judges each other in there. You know what I mean? Y'all should come in there with us. Y'all would love it.
I would love to do that.
I seen that last night, but I saw it like way after y'all had already done it. But I saw that last night. I was wondering what that was.
I did
So
too.
that's good.
You would love it. We do it every Saturday on a Zoom call at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 p.m. my time.
Awesome. Oh, sorry. I was looking at she just pointed it out right there where it was the link on there, I think.
Okay, so before we wrap this up, because I know y'all got y'all's kids, and as you can see, I got Nate over here with me already. I want to tell us all about your channel. I'm linking it in the comments. Mama has been linking it in the comments, but tell us about your channel. And if you could tell somebody out there that's struggling with the disease of addiction one thing, what would you tell them?
Meet Jesus Christ.
Meet Jesus, and just admitting that you're in addiction. I feel like that's the first step that you have to take, is that you have to admit that you're addicted, that you have to be like, I have a problem. I need to fix this. Because a million people can put you in rehab, but if you're not ready to do it, you're not going to do it. So I feel like you need to figure out and come to terms with, I'm an addict and I need to do something about this. And also, I feel like, in our opinion, I know he feels the same way. We could not do it without God.
No.
Like, we tried so many times before, and until we put him at the very beginning of it, it never worked. And now it works beautifully.
And guys, the awesome part about it is, I'm not trying to preach at you by any means, but Jesus will meet you wherever you're at. He will come to wherever you're at. I mean, like, you can be in a bathroom stall and he will be there with you. And that's honestly, that's what's got me. I mean, like, I'll just have to pray sometimes. And sometimes, like, before I start praying, I feel so weak and just so like a tragedy waiting to happen. And then after I pray, I feel like literally stronger. Like, hey, you know what? I can do this. I know I can do this because God's with me and I know I can do it.
And you don't have to feel shameful about coming to him. Like, that's who he wants. That's who he's after.
Yep.
So,
yeah, if you get into the Bible, he didn't never really pick the perfect people. He picked the shameful ones and the murderers and the rapists like that to be his hands and feet. Yeah. And as far as our channel, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's what I was going to talk about. Is our channel? Go ahead.
As far as our channel, like we were saying earlier, it's surviving parenthood after surviving addiction. I feel like that addiction is its own beast, but parenthood is another beast. And all you moms out there, I feel for you. You are awesome people. You are like, if your men should appreciate you. If your men should appreciate you more. I mean, like, yes, men do have a lot on their shoulders, but I mean, like, dealing with those kids every day and like the same crap and just, every day the screaming and the yelling and stuff. I don't know that I could do it. I sit here and I say, oh yeah, if you could make the money to support the house, I'll take care of the kids. But honestly, I'd probably have been a daycare in the first 15 minutes.
Yep.
I love my kids to death, but it's just, parenthood is a struggle, especially after you've been an addict, because you're not only trying to get your mind right for you, but you're trying to keep your mind right for your kids, because you don't want to be that on the edge person, or half on one side, half on the other with your kids there.
Yeah, and parenthood is so stressful that it's gonna make you want to be like, I want to do a pill. And like, we kind of show like in like moments where it's super, like, I show a lot of the stressful moments, like when I know like a lot of the like mom YouTubers don't ever show their kids crying, like situations like that. I feel like, and when I'm in those situations, I try to show them and show how I kind of calm myself down and get through it without doing drugs, but and then I also try to add in there just stuff that's helped us or helped me. And then Heith talks when he gets in on the vlog. Sometimes he's not on there very much because he's always at work, but
here soon we are going to have testimonies coming out on there, though. Individual testimonies.
I'm excited to see y'all's testimonies. Like, excited. I know that because
mine's going to be a 3-part really fast.
But I want to get to know each one of you guys separately from each other. Yeah. And then, like, here's the thing with family vlogging. I feel like you have to be really careful, because we are at a time now on YouTube where all these people like want to utilize their children in these vlogs, and then they're like, you know what I'm talking about. There's this whole scandal on YouTube with this lady named Micah Stauffer.
Yep, she gave her kid back. She adopted him. And when she adopted him, I heard that she rose like during the adoption process and then found out that he had like this disease or something wrong and gave him to another family. Even though she's a registered nurse, she said she couldn't handle it. It was
They
crazy.
literally shot up to like almost 1 million subscribers through this adoption process of her adopting this little boy from China who had autism and something else going on with him, and they adopted him, and they became famous over that, and they were making hella cash, sponsored videos, going to trips to Bali, all this stuff, and they ended up rehoming the little boy.
Yeah, like
it was a
yes.
Holy
and
crap.
I think
had him for 3 years too. Can you imagine having a little kid for 3 years and then giving him giving him away to somebody else?
Because it was too much to handle. Like that's your child. Like that's what you got dealt. Deal with it. I've seen that and I could not believe it.
They taped his thumbs with duct tape so he wouldn't suck his thumbs. But in like pictures, they show their kids sucking their thumb, and they didn't tape their own kids' thumbs.
Yeah, they're very shady people. I feel like after that, I'm pretty sure they're probably canceled.
They literally adopted that baby to make money and to have a channel about that. And then after that, so that's the only thing like I worry about with family stuff is that just be careful because people on YouTube are crazy. And I was just finishing your vlog, so I didn't get to see the part where you were talking about the negative comment. I didn't get to that part. But people are going to leave comments on your channel, and I'm telling you right now, I'll read y'all one I got today. Somebody came and left me a comment. They said, your mannerisms and the way you talk is so annoying.
So move on with your life and get off.
And this other guy says, that tooth in your mouth looks like it's going to jump out of your mouth. This one right here. And I said, Lord. You know, like, oh my God, like, you will be literally wait until you get it. Just wait until your channel gets a little bit bigger. Y'all are going to be like.
I told he's going to have a hard time with it. I feel like because I watch YouTube, like I've watched YouTube for years, and I see people commenting on these people's channels. I'm like, I could not do this.
Well, see what the guy.
I would blow up, but I know that I'm going to have to just. They have the problem. There's a reason that they're hating on me because they hate themselves for some reason, and I will pray for them.
Yeah, I mean the guy had said said something about such godly people talking about killing their kids because she was like, I've got to go get some Dunkin' coffee before I kill somebody.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna kill them if I don't go get some Dunkin' coffee. And he was like, oh, such godly people.
And it's like,
and I'm like, it was a joke. Do you not have children?
Yeah,
like,
and we never claim to be like great godly people. Like we are seeking God heavily. Like we want that to be our life. We want to get as close to God as we can because He saved us from this horrible thing that we were doing. And it's like we never claim to be, we don't show up in some robes like priests or nothing like that, toting the Bible every time, but we're just trying to share like, hey, look, this is what helped us. So every day we seek to know Him more. And it's just we were just trying to get that out there. We didn't want it to be, but I do understand. There's going to be haters.
Yeah. Prepare for the worst, baby. Prepare for the worst.
And the worst ones are always on the computer too.
If you prepare for the worst, then it's like when you see the comments that people will leave, it won't even bother you at all. You'll just be like, meh, meh. You know what I mean?
Whatever. I know. As long as you know.
There's only a couple comments that really upset me, and it's when they are comments about that's why honestly, you guys, my little boy, I don't let him really come on camera a lot because when people talk about my son, I will find your IP address and I will come and hunt you down.
Oh, yep.
I just cannot handle that, or my family or something like that. But other than that, I mean, it's all good. But anyway, I'm so glad that y'all came on.
I know. I was so nervous, but I'm so happy that we did it. This was awesome.
I told you it wouldn't be nothing hard. It's just chill. We're just hanging out, talking,
And to everybody that was commenting and listening, y'all, thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much.
We just appreciate listening to our story, for real.
Hopefully, we just want to help if we can help one person, like literally only one person in our whole journey, it would be worth it just to get one person out of addiction.
I'm sure y'all will help a lot more people than that. You'll see. So, okay, I love you guys. I'm going to link your channel in the description, in the comment section when this video uploads. And, you know, I'll see you on the flip side. I like to have people come back. So, like in a month or two, you'll come back for an update, okay?
Okay, awesome.
Sounds good. Anytime.
That
Thanks.
sounds good.
Thanks, you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yay. Oh, we had our first couple on Real Talk Recovery, y'all. There was almost 40 of you guys in here today. Okay, so I don't know what y'all are arguing about in the comment section. I was about to kick y'all's asses. I'm linking their channel, and also Mama has been linking their channel. What's up, Bonta? I see you. Hey, George. How you doing, honey? I'm so glad you guys came in tonight. Like, I really like Heith and Brittany. They did a really, really good job. Now, y'all got to go over there and subscribe to their channel so that way we can catch them when they do their individual stories, and then when they come together to do their story together on their channel, because then they'll be able to go, you know, probably more in depth on their own channel. But you guys know that if you have a story and you are comfortable with sharing it here on my channel, all of you guys are welcome to come on my channel and share your story. Anybody is welcome. So we're going to wrap this video up. And what's tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow's Monday. LT is going to come on the channel, and me and LT are going to talk about the importance of accountability, the importance of holding each other accountable in recovery, of holding each other peers accountable. So like if you guys saw me slipping on my sobriety, why it would be important to, you know, say something and help me stay accountable. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. And my son's birthday is the 4th of July. So we will probably have a celebration about that here on the channel. And then July 19th through like the 25th or 26th, I'm going to go on vacation, you guys. But y'all know how I am. I'll probably vlog while we're there. So y'all will get to see, y'all will get to go on vacation with us. Hey, Bonta, I texted both of those girls and I didn't hear back. I only heard back from Lacey, I think it was. So, but it's okay. It's okay. I understand. It's kind of nerve-wracking coming on a channel and sharing your story, especially when it comes to addiction. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that's willing to come on and tell their story, you guys, it takes so much courage. And it takes a lot of courage, especially when you're parents, because you already beat yourself up enough. Like I'm going to tell y'all, and I'm sure Brittany and Heith can tell you also, that when you know you've been doing wrong and you know that you hurt your children and that you put them in a bad way, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Really? Oh my God. Nate's going to be 6 on the 4th of July. I call him my little firecracker. I popped him out. Pop, pop. That's a true story though, y'all. When I gave birth to Nathaniel, I was 8.5 centimeters dilated and I ran into the hospital holding my belly. I was freaking out. It was scary. No, George, I don't care about the corona. I'm going on vacation, damn it. I'm going on vacation. We're going to go. We're not going far, you guys. We're just going to Branson, Missouri. Julie, thank you. I have, and I also start CrossFit training Tuesday. So y'all will get to come with me for that too. My little firecracker, y'all already know. So, okay. I don't want to make this video too long because I want people to come and watch it and watch the interview. So I love you guys, and I'll see y'all tomorrow night at 7 with LT.